Good morning. It's Thursday, August 21st. Here's what we're working on this morning. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand is set to have her first official meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington today amid ongoing tensions.
A new invasive insect could be making its way to Canada.
And Hamilton's Elena Sharp tees off at the CPKC Women's Open for the 20th time. Good Thursday morning, one and all.
Yes.
Yesterday we were all gray. Today
we're all black.
We're this.
What does this mean?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, what do we do for tomorrow?
That could be really interesting. We'll have to get together and work on that. Yeah.
This is purely accidental.
Yeah. Funny how that just kind of happens sometimes, doesn't it? Oh yeah. Okay. We had a cool day yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we only got to 19 degrees yesterday.
You know what? We went out last night and had to sit on a patio because that was the only spot that was available. And I had to wear my husband's coat because it was too chilly.
It was cool, yeah.
I didn't have a coat on.
Oh dear, yeah. And you combine the temperature with that cool northeast wind coming off the lake, yeah, it felt rather cool. Mm-hmm. Today will be a little bit better. Today we should hit 23 degrees, so that's climbing a bit. Still below seasonal. Humidex of 28 today. Now there is a chance of a shower this morning, maybe even some drizzle. It's only a 30% chance. Then we're going to see some clearing. So we'll get back into some sunshine this afternoon and a beautiful sunny day for Friday tomorrow. Looks really good. The weekend, well, we'll talk about that coming up. All right, let's have a quick check in traffic this morning. Usually this time of the morning nothing's happening, and that's the way it is right now. That's the 403 and Waterdown Road, our exclusive camera, doing okay there. Go to a few MTO traffic cameras. Nikola Tesla Boulevard, Toronto bound toward the Skyway away from us. Other side of the Skyway at North Shore Boulevard, well, they call it south of 2, but okay. And here's east of 4th, Toronto bound towards us on that camera. That's basically how it looks this morning. So weather and traffic as usual. We'll dip into that coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thank you, Brian. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand will meet with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio today in Washington, D.C. It's their first official meeting amid ongoing tensions in the bilateral relationship between the two countries. U.S. President Donald Trump boosted tariffs on Canadian goods not compliant with the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement to 35% earlier this month. Canada is also being hammered by tariffs on steel, aluminum, copper, and vehicles.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford has gone on a rant against the head of the company that owns Hamilton-based Stelco.
Their owner, I got a problem with that guy. He's signing all these forms, Cleveland Cliffs or whatever the heck their name is. Bring the steel down to the U.S. That's the owner. He doesn't give two hoots about his workers at Stelco when he's signing all these letters, because I've seen these letters. So remember that, Stelco workers, when your owner comes prancing through your place, he doesn't support you.
The president and CEO of Cleveland Cliffs has publicly backed U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canadian steel, including the doubling of them from 25% to 50%. We've reached out to the company for comment, haven't heard back. Premier was in Hamilton to announce $70 million worth of funding for training and employment services for workers in industries directly impacted by U.S. tariffs. Ford says it's also important to make as many products in Ontario as possible, including steel rails and I-beams for construction and transit projects already underway in Ontario.
There is a big meeting in Saskatoon today to respond to steep Chinese tariffs on Canadian canola seed. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe is set to meet with industry groups and the federal agriculture minister. Last week, China added a 76% tariff on Canadian canola, claiming our industry benefits from substantial government subsidies. The price of Canadian canola crops has fallen since then, with millions of dollars in value wiped out. Canada's $45 billion canola industry employs more than 200,000 people across the country, most of them in the prairies. Hamilton, though, has one of the largest oilseed crush facilities in the country at Hoppa Ports. The Bungie plant in Hamilton crushes and processes canola and soy into oil for distribution in eastern Canada.
Most Air Canada domestic and U.S. flights are expected to be operational soon. Air Canada's website shows 97% of domestic flights this morning were expected to operate over the next 24 hours, and 99% of U.S. flights, 76% of other international routes. A return to full and regular service could take up to 10 days, with delays compounded by mandatory maintenance checks that must happen because aircraft were on the ground for more than 72 hours. The tentative agreement that ended the three-day strike by flight attendants will be voted on starting next week. Air Canada is offering full refunds or credit for future travel to customers whose flights were canceled between the start of the strike and this Saturday, if they can't get on a flight on another airline. Here's what federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre had to say when asked about CUPE, their Air Canada Flight Attendants Union, defying a back-to-work order.
We support law and order, so everyone should follow the law, but it's simultaneously possible to say that everyone should follow the law and the rules, while saying that it's very unfair that the Liberals have voted against a Conservative bill requiring that flight attendants get paid for every minute they work. We need more competition in our economy so that workers and consumers can choose between more airlines, and that would allow better wages for the workers and better choice and prices for our consumers. Of course, after 10 years of Liberals, air travel is worse than ever before.
The federal government says it's investigating allegations that flight attendants are unpaid for work duties carried out when planes are not in the air.
The Canadian Union of Postal Workers has presented new offers to Canada Post. They're asking for higher wages and want to expand the service to include weekend delivery and part-time workers. The proposal includes annual raises of 9% in the first year, 4% in the second, and 3% in years 3 and 4. That's up from roughly 13% over 4 years in Canada Post's previous offer. Unionized workers had rejected that earlier deal. Canada Post says it's reviewing the new proposal and remains committed to bargaining. Negotiations are set for tomorrow and Monday.
People in Hamilton are being asked to look out for the invasive spotted lanternfly. It's extremely harmful to plants and trees. It hasn't been detected in Canada just yet, but its existence in Buffalo, New York is a cause for concern. Simone Gavros joins us from Hamilton's Bayfront Park with what you need to know.
Well, Annette, this warning isn't just exclusive to Hamilton. The Niagara region is also sounding the alarm because of how destructive this bug can be. It usually feeds on the sap of trees and leaves, and it can have a devastating impact to the wine and forest and agriculture industries here in Ontario. This is a look at what the bug does look like. In its adult form, it's covered in spots, and it also has a bright red color underwing that gives it that light pink hue with black on the end. The spotted lanternfly was first detected in Pennsylvania in 2014. And as of September 2022, the Invasive Species Center says over 100 of them were found in Buffalo, but have yet to cross the border. The bug primarily spreads through human activity by hopping onto moving cargo, camping gear, patio furniture, and of course, plants. It does prefer to feed on the invasive tree of heaven, but also latches onto grapes, fruit trees, black walnut, maples, and oaks. Hamilton's report about the bug from 2023 says that there were over 130,000 trees that the spotted lanternfly could feed on, which is about 43% of the trees across Hamilton. Now, if you do happen to spot the bug, you're asked to contact the Hamilton's Tree Health Team or reach out to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. For now, things back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much, Simone. 1 in 3 Canadian children go to school hungry almost every day. That's from a new report from the Breakfast Club of Canada. Hamilton Food Share says a third of people who use their food banks are children. Food donations, though, have been increasing, so there's some good news here. They've received more than 120,000 pounds of food since the Labor Day Classic, the Ticat game last year.
It's families, it's people with jobs, it could be your neighbor, it can be your relative, it could be anyone.
Hamilton Food Share says partnerships not only tackle hunger, but fuel their employment program as well.
It is time for Sportsline. The CPKC Canadian Women's Open begins this morning in Mississauga. Hamilton's Elena Sharp will be playing in this event for the 20th time. The 44-year-old tees off at 9:01 this morning and is among 16 Canadians in the field for the National Open, including 10 amateurs. Mississauga's Savannah Gruel will be the first Canuck to tee off at 7:22 this morning. Top-ranked Canadian Brooke Henderson begins her day at 1:09 this afternoon. Scottie Scheffler enters the Tour Championship today in Atlanta as the clear favorite to win the FedEx Cup in back-to-back years. The 29-year-old was asked about how he compares to Tiger Woods, and Scheffler says Tiger stands alone.
I think it's very silly to be compared to Tiger Woods. I think Tiger's a guy that stands alone in the game of golf, and I think he always will. I mean, Tiger inspired a whole generation of golfers. I mean, you've grown up watching that guy do what he did week in, week out. I mean, it was pretty amazing to see. And like, I talk about a mental change I made because I played one round of golf with him in a tournament. I've only played one tournament round of golf with Tiger Woods, and it completely changed the way I look at how I play tournaments.
The four-time major champion has won 5 times in his past 10 starts, including last week's BMW Championship, and has finished in the top 10 in his last 13 tournaments. Corey Connors and Nick Taylor are the only Canadians in the field. Maple Leafs captain Austin Matthews has broken his silence on Mitch Marner's move to Las Vegas this offseason. Matthews was asked about losing his longtime teammate to the Golden Knights ahead of the Hockey Night in Brampton event last night.
We'll obviously miss him. He's a great friend, great teammate. You know, that's kind of the business side of it. That's tough, but obviously I wish him nothing but the best. And yeah, we'll just keep it moving.
Matthews and Marner made their NHL debuts together in Toronto in 2016 and spent the last 9 seasons together. The pair helped the Leafs win 2 division titles, but just 2 playoff series. The AL East leading Blue Jays lost 2 of their 3 games against the lowly Pirates. The last-place team in the National League Central topped Toronto 2-1 yesterday afternoon. George Springer led off the game with a solo home run, but the Jays were held in check the rest of the way. Toronto is off today and open a weekend series in Miami tomorrow. The Inter-County Baseball League playoffs begin tonight. The Hamilton Cardinals open their series in Chatham, while the first-place Welland Jackfish host Kitchener. Elsewhere tonight, Toronto visits Barrie. London and Guelph will open their series tomorrow night. Well, this is a sign of the times when it comes to sports betting. At least a couple of offshore bookmakers are offering odds on games at the Little League World Series, where players are just 12 years old and younger. A few team managers say it's not appropriate. Little League International says no one should be exploiting the success and failures of children playing the game they love. CFL kicks off week 12 of the regular season tonight in Montreal, where the Alouettes host Winnipeg. 4th-string quarterback James Morgan is now QB1 and will start for the 5-5 Owls, who have lost 3 games in a row, in addition to losing quarterbacks Davis Alexander, McLeod Bethel-Thompson, and Caleb Evans to injury. The Blue Bombers are 5-4 and are looking to keep pace in the competitive West Division. The Ticats are on their bye week. They next play against the Argos on Labor Day, and very few tickets are left. Canada's senior men's wheelchair basketball team narrowly missed out on a medal at the IWBF America's Cup. The Canadians lost 48-47 against host Colombia in the bronze medal game yesterday.
Okay, here we go. 6:13, quick slurp and off we go. Last bit of coffee or tea, whichever you want. Let's get you into the traffic scene this morning. Looking a little busier now, 403 on Waterdown Road. That's our exclusive camera coming out of Hamilton toward Burlington towards us as usual. It's okay. Let's check some MTO traffic cameras into St. Catharines, and we'll come around the Horseshoe, QEW Mountain, between St. Catharines and the Falls. Very light volume as usual. Nothing has changed at Nikola Tesla Boulevard. East of Brant looks good. East of Royal Windsor, all the way through Cawthra, QEW, and all the major routes right now are moving fine. Check the temperature that we have at the moment. We're sitting at 17 degrees, so that's above seasonal for an overnight low this time of year. The sun's not up yet, doesn't come up till 6:31, but that's basically how the sky looks. It's a mostly cloudy sky, bit of a breeze. Actually, that breeze has died off a little bit this hour. It was gusting to almost 35 last hour, but northeast at 21 right now. Humidity is right up there. We are going to see some sunshine for later on today, but this morning is going to be fairly cloudy. The air quality risk for the day today, in the low risk category, no problems there. Ridge of high pressure, that's off to the west. That is what's going to help clear our skies. But notice notice what's coming up the east coast. Hurricane Erin, as you can see, just glancing onto our map there, and then it's going to be moving out into the Atlantic. But for us, that ridge of high is going to give us some sun today, later on, and some sun for the day tomorrow. Tomorrow, a lovely day. So today, a chance of showers this morning, but then some sun later. Temperatures 23 to 25 degrees. Humidex around 28 for the day. Tonight, temperature dips back to 13 and 14 degrees. Clear skies. Some areas away from the lake could get some fog patches, though, so a bit milder for Toronto at 15. And then tomorrow, look at this. Temperatures pop up nicely. 25, 26, 27. Humidex around 29 to 30, but lovely sunshine for tomorrow. Going to be a great day with that sun as we get into the weekend. 21st of the month this morning. We're sitting at 17. It's mostly cloudy. How about that weekend? We'll check that detail for the forecast coming up a little later on. Annette, Rick.
Well, that sounds promising.
Maybe that's why we're wearing black today. Ottawa, coming up after the break, Ottawa is defending its steel tariffs against Beijing. We'll have those details and more coming up in a couple of minutes. Let's check out the markets in overseas trading. The Canadian dollar is down 5 basis points to 72.05 cents U.S. Gold is down $6.70 an ounce, and crude is 55 cents higher to $63.26 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are down in London, Frankfurt, and in Paris.
In Asia, markets were down today in Tokyo and Hong Kong, up a little bit in Shanghai. On North American markets, the TSX gained 54 points at close. The Dow was up 16 and the Nasdaq lost 142.
Canada is defending its steel tariffs against China after Beijing filed a complaint at the World Trade Organization. China is challenging Ottawa's 25% surtax on imports that contain steel melted or poured in China, calling it discriminatory and demanding a reversal. Prime Minister Mark Carney imposed the tariff last month to protect Canada's industry amid the U.S.-led trade war and concerns about steel dumping from foreign markets. A spokesperson for the International Trade Minister says Canada's tariffs are in direct response to China's efforts to act outside traditional market dynamics. His office argues Chinese overcapacity is threatening Canadian jobs and undermining the steel sector.
Home Depot warns it may have to raise prices because of U.S. tariffs. Nearly 50% of its inventory is imported from suppliers outside the states. Home Depot says while some products will go up in price, it's not going to be broad-based. Home Depot is sticking with its 2025 outlook, forecasting sales growth of about 2.8% and a slight decline in profit for the latest quarter. It reported net sales of $45.3 billion U.S., just short of analyst estimates.
Claire's Holdings has signed a $104 million U.S. deal to sell much of its North American business to Ames Watson. Claire says in court filings that the deal reached with the private holding company covers both Claire's intellectual property and at least 795 of its locations and inventory. As part of the transaction, Claire's has paused the liquidation it began at many of its stores. The deal still requires court approval in Canada and the U.S. after filing for creditor protection in both countries as it struggles to keep up with increased competition in online retail.
If you've ever tried to cancel a gym membership, you can probably relate to this. A popular gym chain is facing a lawsuit from the U.S. Federal Trade Commission for making it too difficult to cancel a membership. The lawsuit involves California-based Fitness International and Fitness and Sports Clubs. They run LA Fitness and other gym chains. The complaint says LA Fitness uses complicated methods, going beyond requiring people to cancel in person or through mail, and therefore making it extremely difficult to cancel.
We're going to take a quick time out. Brian is going to be back with traffic and your 7-day weather forecast.
Good morning, 23 minutes after 6 o'clock already. The sun's not even up yet this morning. We will see some of it later on today, which is good. Let's start with traffic cameras, MTOs. This is St. Catharines camera at Welland. Nothing to see right there. South of 2, so coming off the Skyway Bridge, going past North Shore Boulevard, doing fine, no problems. Nothing has changed here east of 4th. Sheridan going through Mississauga, all doing fine. And we'll dip into the 403, just up from the Ford plant, going past Dundas to Burnham Thorpe here. looks pretty good so far. All right, temperature this morning, temperature sitting at 17 degrees for Hamilton, which is above seasonal for an overnight low. 16 for Mississauga, 18 for Grimsby and Toronto. Let's talk seasonal temperatures. Okay, 25 for the daytime high. We won't get there today. We will tomorrow, though, and 14 for the overnight low. Those are our sun times. Yep, sun doesn't come up till 6:31 now, and those are our records for today. So today, temperature will climb to 23 degrees, humidex about 28. And so we'll see some showers possible this morning. So Brawley, grab that before you head out. Or, of course, your everyday Brock umbrella that I know you keep with you all the time. Yes, it's a fine look, isn't it? 13 degrees overnight. Skies will clear tonight. Tomorrow, sunny, 25, feeling like about 28. And then the weekend. Well, it's only a 30% chance of showers, but not much sun for Saturday, 25. 25, at least we get some sun for Sunday. Again, chance of showers, and those showers could linger Monday, even into Tuesday. That's your forecast. Annette, Rick.
A massive 113-year-old church has been rolled away to a new spot in Sweden.
Now, the move wasn't far, just 5 kilometers, but it took a day and a half. The church in Kiruna had an escort of guards and a human wall of 40 people to protect it. It's reportedly the widest and tallest structure ever reported in Sweden. It had to be moved because decades of mining in the area had destabilized the ground that it once stood on. Now that it's been safely relocated, it will be stabilized on a new foundation and will likely reopen next year. So you can imagine what Sweden's Morning Live's traffic report looks like for a day and a half. Yep, the church is still on the move.
Wow. This is like a parade, but with a giant church.
That is so cool. That is
incredible.
Structural feats to do that. And who even decided that? Okay, yes, we can, instead of like tearing it down piece by piece, doing it to move it all.
One whole thing. Wow, good for them. That's preserving history.
Yes.
And putting it in a new spot.
Yep.
Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live.
Nice.